The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRCMedia, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
This week on FRCmedia News, the state has released the 2025 MCAS test scores. How did Fall River schools fare? Bristol Community College inaugurates its 5th president. And the next edition of the Fabric Festival kicks off in a week. All this and more coming up. It's Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. This is FRCmedia News. I'm Keith Tebow. The Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has released each school district's 2025 Massachusetts Comprehensive Assessment System, or MCAS, test results. The outcome for most Fall River schools was not that different from a year ago. The MCAS tests students' proficiency in English language arts, mathematics, science and technology in grades 3 through 8 and 10th grade in high school. At the elementary and middle school levels, grades 3 through 8 within the Fall River Public Schools, 19% of city students either exceeded or met expectations in English. That's down from 20% in 2024. The statewide average is 42%. 43% of students partially met expectations, while 37% did not meet expectations. In math, 18% of students exceeded or met expectations, down from 19% last year. The statewide average is 41%. 46% of students partially met expectations, with 36% not meeting those standards. In grades 5 through 8, students taking the science test exceeded or met expectations at an 18% rate, the same as a year ago. That compares to 42% statewide. 43% partially met expectations and 39% did not. 2025 was the first year that 8th graders completed a civics test. 12% exceeded or met expectations compared to 39% across the state. 52% partially met expectations, while 36% did not meet expectations. Scores of 10th graders at Durfee High School were a bit higher. In English, 36% of the students exceeded or met expectations, up from 32% in 2024. 51% of 10th graders statewide met those standards. 38% at Durfee partially met expectations, while 26% did not meet expectations. In math, Durfee students exceeded or met expectations at 19%, up from 15% last year and compared to 45% statewide. 45% partially met expectations, with 36% not meeting expectations. Science scores at Durfee showed 20% of 10th graders exceeded or met the standards, up from 18% in 2024 and compared to 46% statewide. 39% partially met expectations, with 40% not meeting those standards. Mayor Paul Coogan says the MCAS test still has its challenges in Fall River.
That is a very long, extensive, difficult test. I just think there's a better way to do it. I'd rather have us focus on the lower grades, on the ability to read at grade level, and then move it up to the science and math curriculum in the upper grades, whether it's 9 or 10. Again, that always fell on deaf ears, but I believe we did make progress in some areas, and others, like you said, are either flat or it may dipped a little. But it's a struggle every year with us.
Diamond 10th graders saw a sharp decline in scores across the board. 40% exceeded or met standards in English, down from 67% last year. 48% partially met expectations, with 13 not meeting the standard. Students exceeded or met math at a clip of 25% at Diamond, down from 48% in 2024. 62% partially met and 13% did not meet expectations. For science scores, exceeding and meeting expectations totaled 20%, down from 49% last year. 60% partially met expectations, while 20% did not. At the Argosy Collegiate Charter School, students in grades 6 through 8 exceeded or met expectations in English at 17%, compared to 14% last year. 54% partially met the standard, while 29% did not. In math, Argosy students exceeded or met expectations at 18%, compared to 17% in 2024. 59% partially met expectations, while 23% did not meet those standards. In science, the top two levels totaled 14%, compared to 19% a year ago. 68% and 18% partially met or did not meet expectations. 10th graders at Argosy scored 32% in English, compared to 35% in 2024. 54% and 13% partially met or did not meet those expectations. 31% of Argosy 10th graders were proficient in math, compared to 30% last year, with 55% and 13% partially meeting or not meeting expectations. In science, 34% of students hit the mark, compared to only 22% in 2024. 48% partially met the expectations, while 18% did not. At the Atlantis Charter School, elementary and middle school students exceeded or met the standards in English at 27%, compared to 26% last year. Half of the students partially met expectations, while 23% did not. In math, 25% exceeded or met the standard, compared to 21% in 2024. 50% and 26% partially exceeded or did not exceed expectations. 5th and 8th grade science scores came in at 16%, below the 28% level of a year ago. 51% partially met expectations and 33% did not. 10th graders saw a significant drop in scores, coming in at 37% in English compared to 46% in 2024. 37% partially met the expectations, 26% did not. 38% of 10th graders were proficient in math last year, only 22% this year. 34% partially met the expectations, while 24% did not. In terms of science scores at Atlantis, they dropped to 14% from 29% in 2024. 60% and 26% partially met or did not meet the standards, respectively. Bristol Community College officially installed Dr. Sedgwick Harris as its 5th president at an inauguration ceremony held last Friday. Addressing those gathered for the ceremony, Dr. Harris said the ethos at Bristol remains, with the goal of helping students succeed.
Our history is not just a list of milestones. It is a story of resilience and transformation, of people who believe that education changes lives. With the arrival of Mass Connect and Free Community College, we are seeing more students walk through our doors, many for the very first time. I know this challenge. I know this challenge because I faced it. As a proud community college graduate and a first-generational college student myself, I recognize the unique DNA of the institution built on inclusion, hard work, and a belief in the potential that our students bring every day.
Dr. Harris says he plans to lead the college by adhering to the commitment to serve the educational needs of the region.
At Bristol, this remarkable institution has a legacy of perseverance and progress. We know what grit looks like. Our region is built on industry, on creativity, and on the refusal to quit. From manufacturing to fishing to art, culture, and technology, we have always adapted. Today, the workforce is changing again. We need to be ready, that's right, shovel ready, as my mentor would say, to build a brighter future. But let's be honest, no one reaches this goal. It takes all of us. K-12 partners, alumni, donors, community leaders, rowing in the same direction. To business leaders, if you need a partner, Bristol Community College stands at the ready. To our higher education colleagues, legislators, and friends across the Commonwealth, we can and we will arrive there, but we will arrive there together.
The city of Fall River has plans to make one of its parks more inclusive for children. It plans to spend approximately $600,000 in community development and parks grants to fund a sensory playground at Abbott Court. The inspiration for the park came from South End resident Marcel Riley, who created a miniature sensory park in his backyard for his daughter May, a child with autism.
I want it to be a hub, but not just for the kids in this that need it. We can go on for hours what it does for the kids. We all know that. But what a great thing this park's going to do is going to be a place that a parent can come and just decompress. You know, just their child will be safe. They could play along with other children that maybe are not on the spectrum, but they'll be playing with the same apparatuses. They'll be facing each other, playing in the same mazes, the same sensory panels, helping each other up a structure. And to me, that's beautiful. But it's also going to be a place where the parents can come and they can talk to each other. They can maybe share resources, maybe just sit back and decompress and share, you know, their struggles and relate to another parent going through the same thing.
Along with the grant money, fundraisers for the park are being planned for later this fall and winter. Construction of the playground is expected to begin next spring. The Fall River Police Department this week put into service 4 new e-bike units that will focus on adeptly patrolling parts of the city that are not accessible to patrol cars, particularly in areas like the Quikasham River Rail Trail.
Some of the special features of the newer bikes, as the chief was saying, they are electric, so we don't have to pedal as much. With the city having as many hills as it does, patrolling in like inaccessible areas makes it a lot easier. So wherever cars can't go, parks, trails, sidewalks, things like that, makes it a lot easier, especially with the wide tires. We also have sirens, we have blue lights, as you can see, and then packs for like first aid kits and things like that. So we can also attend like medical situations and anything that we could do on a patrol car, just a lot more compact.
This is more than just new equipment. It's another tool in our toolbox that strengthens our relationship with the community and ensures we can respond quickly and effectively while remaining approachable and accessible to the public we serve.
Dozens of people assembled at St. Michael's Church in the North End Monday to celebrate the annual Blue Mass, which recognizes the work of Fall River's first responders. Pastor Father Fred Babzik used his homily to emphasize the important role public safety officials play within a community.
I'm always amazed by the similarity which exists between someone involved in public safety and also clergy. The similarity is that all of us are called to lives of service. We are called to lives of service. As clergy, we serve the church and we serve the people of God. As police, as fire, as first responders, you serve the community where you live and where you belong. Both are called to lives of service. And I know as a priest, it is essential that I am constantly aware that what I do as a priest is not just a job, but is indeed a life of service. If we tend to forget that we are called to serve others, that this is not just a job, but it is indeed service that we offer to the community, or service they offer to the church. It is essential that we always keep this in mind.
Representatives from the city's neighborhood associations presented plaques to representatives of the city's public safety departments, recognizing their work in battling the Gabriel House assisted living fire in July. We continue our work as we head closer to the November 4th municipal election. Our first candidate forum takes place next Tuesday, October 7th, beginning at 6:30 p.m. as we host the candidates running for school committee. You can watch the forum live on Channel 95 as well as online on Facebook and YouTube. Our other forums will take place Thursday, October 16th, when we'll hold 2 panels of candidates running for City Council, beginning at 6 p.m. and again at 8 p.m. Then on Tuesday, October 21st, we'll host the candidates running for mayor, beginning at 6:30 p.m. Videos of the candidates and recordings of our forums can be found on our special Election 2025 webpage, frmedia.org/election 2025. Every week, we like to take a look at local business and economic development news here in Fall River, and we do that with the help of Fall River Development News and Kevin Lawrence, the owner, editor, and publisher of that publication, which you can find on Facebook. Kevin, how are you this week?
Doing well. Glad to be here once again, Keith.
All right, let's start with a historic, long-serving religious building here in Fall River. Soon will be up for auction.
Yes, Temple Bethel, Fall River's only remaining Jewish temple in the historic Highlands district of Fall River, is up for auction. It's going to be sold at a public auction. This is according to South Coast Auctions and Realty. They'll be commencing that auction on Thursday, November 6th at 4 p.m. It's a 97-year-old historic building at 385 High Street. It's situated, in case you don't know where it is, kitty corner to the Fall River Probate and Family Courthouse, and it will be sold on premises on that date of November 6th. Now, back in 2023, Temple Bethel's board decided to sell the synagogue. It's been on the market for a bit. Apparently, it hasn't moved, and now they're going to put it up for auction. They're looking to find another place that's smaller in size for their remaining congregation.
Yeah, so I mean, I drive by there quite often to come here to Bristol Community College, and it's quite the structure. And I believe there's also a building attached to it that's a daycare center or
Yes.
or an early childhood center. Do you know if that's going to be part of the sale
Yeah,
at all?
it's all part of it. There's several buildings on the property.
Yeah.
It's all going up for auction, the entire property.
Wow, that'll be interesting to hear what happens with that. I'm sure we'll be talking about it in about a month or so, a month and a half or so,
Yep.
about how that works out. All right, next up on the list, we'd like to talk about when there's new residences that are being developed here in Fall River, and there's going to be, I believe, 2 new units going up on 2nd Street.
Well, this is an existing 2-story building. It's a commercial building, about 10,000 square feet in size. It's at 377 2nd Street, and they want to convert the commercial building into 10 one-bedroom apartments. The property is currently being utilized on the ground level by an insurance agency, and it had been listed for sale, and it's currently under contract. It does have a parking lot in the back for 10-plus vehicles, so if they were to convert that into 10 one-bedroom apartments, they would have parking for 10 cars, and they're looking for a special permit, relief to waive parking requirements. They want to make the aisle widths a little bit smaller for those 10 spaces in the back of the building. But this is some more exciting news, as we could get some more apartment. I don't know if it's going to be market rate apartments. They haven't said, but most likely, if they're going to make this major investment into this commercial building, it would be market rate apartments for downtown Fall River. And I think the more people living down there would help support some of the businesses which are quickly leaving the downtown area.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's good to see that activity in downtown. And finally, we talk about this quite often. We like to talk about food and restaurants and other activity when it comes to culinary endeavors here in Fall River. There is currently a vacant ice cream shop in the city that may have another tenant going in.
Yes, we're talking about Nano's Ice Cream Shop. This is at 270 Seabury Street in Fall River. If you don't know where it is, it's adjacent to Ruggles Park. It's been a variety store, and then it was converted into an ice cream shop. And now, according to the upcoming Fall River October Zoning Board of Appeals meeting, a new owner is proposing to purchase the property and convert it into a bakery. The ice cream parlor opened in May of 2022 and closed its doors in 2023. So it's been vacant for almost 2 years now. This is right next door to Ruggles Park, and I think a bakery would be a nice use for that, and hopefully they succeed.
All right. You can find out more about Kevin's work on Fall River Development News. Visit him on Facebook. Give him a like, give him a share, give him a follow. He would appreciate it. And we appreciate Kevin every week. All right, Kevin, we'll talk again next week. Take care.
Thank you, Keith.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. Maintenance Technician, St. Vincent Services, located at 2425 Highland Avenue, seeks a full-time maintenance technician responsible for making repairs to residential and commercial buildings. Job number 231-39254. Physical Therapy Assistant. South Coast Health, located at 300 Hanover Street, is looking for a full-time physical therapy assistant to work with patients to prevent disability, relieve pain, develop, improve, and restore motor function capabilities. Job number 231-39302. Dietary Aid Catholic Memorial Home, located at 2446 Highland Avenue, is seeking a full-time dietary aide responsible for assisting with meal assembly, serving and delivery, and communicating with healthcare staff and patients. Job number 231-41179. Director of Customer Service, Merrill Manufacturing, located at 502 Bedford Street, is urgently looking for a full-time Director of Customer Service. For more information, call 508-689-4095. Bristol Community College, located at 777 Ellsbury Street, has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. Human Services Adjunct Faculty, job number 231-39180. ESL Adjunct Faculty, job number 231-39274. For more information about these or other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.eol.mass.gov or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll and Veteran Services Secretary John Santiago visited Battleship Cove this week to launch the Veterans Legacy Trail, an interactive initiative highlighting war memorials across the state as part of the Massachusetts 250th anniversary commemoration.
This new online tool catalogs more than 1,300 different war memorials from small town greens to city centers to places like this right here in Fall River, all brought together in one interactive map, a searchable database. It's really designed to ensure that the sacrifices of our veterans and of our Gold Star families will be remembered, not just in stone and bronze, but in the living memory of our communities across the entire Commonwealth. This is definitely a partnership across state agencies and municipalities and local historical commissions, and just an example of what we can do when Massachusetts, what we like to refer to as Team Massachusetts, comes together. This is going to be a tool for civic engagement, for history, for genealogy, and for connecting communities with place. Even visitors will certainly be able to experience this. And just in closing, our veteran service have really shaped not just our communities, but the character and strength of Massachusetts as a whole. We were the leaders 250 years ago in the founding of this country. We know what it means for individual, ordinary people to step up and do more in this act of collective action that formed this country. It started right here in Massachusetts. So we're honored to make sure we're not overlooking anybody with this new Veterans Legacy Trail. We're going to ensure that those stories are never forgotten, those sacrifices never overlooked, and that legacy always exists here in Massachusetts.
The 6th edition of the Fabric Arts Festival begins a week from today, October 9th, and runs through Sunday, October 12th. Co-founder Michael Benavides says the focus of the event is to produce content that is outside of the box.
It's not a conventional or traditional festival, because when people think of a festival, they think of, a performance in a park, a stage, food trucks, that kind of thing. This is a sort of multidisciplinary, multi-venue festival, meaning lots of venues in our program and different mediums of art. So it can be music, it can be visual arts, it can be performing arts. And in that regard, Fabric has stayed true to what it is. So it's a little experimental in its format, and even the programming that we decided to use it can be a little bit experimental, but we've really started to hone in on dinner performances, which we've done over the last 3 editions since we started in Providence. We started in Providence 3 years ago. We started offering dinners, these what we call community dinners, which I think are really interesting.
The festival began with all events taking place in Fall River, It's now co-hosted at spaces in Fall River and Providence and East Providence, Rhode Island.
There's, I think, something for everybody in a sense. There's, there's food experiences, there's art experiences, there's music experiences, there's nature experiences. So it is about challenging people's, thoughts and ideas about art. What is art, essentially? Art can be a walk in nature. It can be a DJ. It can be, food, on a plate. It could be a traditional Filipino dinner. So I think we check a bunch of different boxes, and so the audiences reflect this. You end up with a diverse group of people with diverse interests.
Some of the events at the festival required a paid ticket, while others, like many of the art installations, will be free of charge. A complete schedule and list of events can be found on the festival's website, fabricfallriver.com. One free event takes place Sunday, October 12th, outdoors through Fall River's Copacut Woods.
We have a walk. We had a walk last year. It was very successful. It was well attended, very well attended, where people will walk through nature and learn about medicinal plants. And so the idea with this is also to get people out walking, letting people know that Fall River has more than just an urban city landscape, that a portion of the city is significantly, like a large portion of the city is woods that very few of us know about. So it is an attempt at bringing awareness to that as well.
We'll wrap up this edition of FRC Media News right after this.
Welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. Today we have Poseidon, a 10-month-old domestic shorthair. He was surrendered to us as his family was moving and couldn't take him with them. But he is a very, very sweet boy. He's super attention-seeking. He loves to be, under your foot, all around your legs. As soon as you come in the room, he's saying hello. Very, very sweet, very social. He's also very playful. Since he's at that 10-month-old age, he's not crazy like a kitten, but he's still playful. He's very social. He's at a good age, to take home. He tolerates being held. He loves being pet, but once you pick him up, he gets a little bit wiggly. He'd be good in just about any home. If anyone's, they work from home, maybe their kids went off to college and you need a new friend, he'll definitely keep you company. So if you want to come down to meet Poseidon, come on down to 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Massachusetts, or you can call us at 508-677-9154, or you can go to our website, foreverpaws.com, and find our application there.
Today we have Nixie. Nixie is a 1-year-old, 8-pound Pomeranian mix. She is the most happy, excited girl. Nixie was found as a stray. She knows a couple commands. I think she just knows sit and come, and her name, come here. Nixie would be good in a home that has a more active lifestyle. People that maybe that have kids, a little hiking family, morning walks. She loves to go for walks. She loves to be outside. Nixie's very good on the leash. She doesn't really pull too much. She kind of sticks by your side. The only thing is she will zigzag and she will go through your feet. If you want to come down and meet Nixie, she's looking for her people. You can find her at Forever Paws Animal Shelter at 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Massachusetts. Or you could visit our website, foreverpaws.com, or give us a call at 508-677-9154.
That's all for this week's edition of FRC Media News. Visit our website, frmedia.org, for more local news and information. Again, a reminder, our first of 3 candidate forums begins next Tuesday, October 7th, as we will bring you live coverage beginning at 6:30 p.m. of a forum of the candidates running for school committee. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. on Channel 95 and the Fall River HD channel located on Channel 1072. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Thursday.